A lone yellow Volkswagen winds its way through endless, winding Colorado mountains under rapidly darkening skies, a drive that feels enchanted and ominous at once. Jack Torrance arrives at the grandeur of the Overlook Hotel, isolated high in the Rockies, having accepted a caretaker position that promises isolated months and a hard restart for his fractured family. Behind his smile flickers subtle desperation, a failed writer, a recovering alcoholic, and a man seeking salvation, or perhaps escape. His wife Wendy, gentle and optimistic, tries to hold their family together and shield their young son, Danny, from Jack's darker moods. Danny, with wide eyes ever searching, listens to the voice only he can hear. Tony, his imaginary friend, a spectral guardian within. Danny harbors a secret. He possesses the power to shine, seeing visions of things past and things yet to come, a psychic conduit sensitive to hidden evils. As Jack interviews for the position, the hotel's manager, Stuart Ullman, drops a cautionary note. A winter caretaker once murdered his family in a fit of madness and isolation. Jack brushes off the story, confident that such horrors lie in other men's hearts. But the tale plants uneasy seeds. The family settles in as the hotel's last guests and staff trickle away for winter. The chef, Dick Hallorann, senses Danny's gift. In quiet conversation over ice cream, Dick warns Danny gently about the hotel's sinister legacy. There are places, he explains, dark enough to remember suffering, and some rooms, like 237, are to be avoided at all costs. Danny, quietly terrified, promises to stay away. But the warning lingers in the chilly air, dread slowly growing with the creeping snow. Suddenly, snowstorms descend and cut the Torrances off from civilization, burying roads and blanketing the world in silence. The vast, empty hotel presses in on them, every corridor echoing with wind and the ghosts of revelers past. Jack attempts to write but becomes distant and irritable, the pressure of expectation and creative barrenness gnawing at his soul. Frustration spills into anger, and soon, rage is simmering beneath every word. But then, Danny begins to see things. Twin girls who beckon him toward a bloody fate, rivers of crimson flooding from the hotel's elevator, glimpses of agony trapped in the very walls. Wendy watches helplessly as Jack withdraws further. At that moment, Danny's visions intensify, overwhelming him to the point of collapse. In his catatonic state, the supernatural grips him with threats beyond rational understanding. As the family begins to unravel, Jack finds solace in the hotel's gold room. He sits at the empty bar and prays for a drink. Suddenly, he isn't alone. The genial bartender Lloyd appears, serving Jack bourbon that tastes of temptation itself. As Jack drinks, his laughter grows hollow. He converses with ghosts, blurring the line between reality and madness. Just as Danny is lured to room 237 by a sinister presence, Wendy discovers him bruised and terrified. She suspects Jack, deepening the gulf between them. Danny refuses to speak but is haunted by what he has seen. A decaying woman rising from a bathtub, spectral hands reaching out. The hotel's evil becomes inescapable, its spirits feeding on the Torrance's isolation and Jack's deteriorating mind. But then Jack begins to converse with Delbert Grady, a spectral vision of the previous caretaker. Grady, with chilling politeness, tells Jack that his family needs to be corrected. The hotel's will becomes Jack's own. His face twists with delusion. He blames Wendy and Danny for his failures, convinced he must complete the terrible work begun long ago. At that moment, the snow outside thickens, the hotel now a fortress from which there is no escape. Danny, desperate, shines out to Hallorann in Florida, sending a psychic alarm through the storm. Hallorann, alarmed, races across the country and through whiteout blizzard, determined to reach the boy. Meanwhile, Jack's unraveling becomes violent. He sabotages the hotel's radio and snowcat to ensure no help can come. Wendy, sensing danger, finds the bloody phrase REDRUM scrawled in Danny's hand on the bathroom door. Red rum, murder, reflected in the mirror. Suddenly, Jack snaps. He chases Wendy through the cavernous halls, wielding a fire axe with murderous intent. He pounds on the bathroom door, splinters flying. "Here's Johnny!" Wendy, desperate, slashes his hand with a knife and escapes through a window, dragging Danny with her. Snow piles high on all exits. Just as Hallorann bursts into the lobby, calling Danny's name, Jack leaps out of hiding and buries the axe in Hallorann's chest. Hallorann collapses, his sacrifice telegraphed only by Danny's psychic pleadings. The boy watches, trembling, before bolting through the kitchens, his footfalls small but urgent. Jack turns now on Danny, chasing him into the icy hedge maze outside. The snowstorm cloaks everything. Visibility drops, howls fill the air. Wendy, stumbling through ghost-filled hallways, sees visions, bleeding elevators, masked phantoms at shadowy parties, the legacy of the hotel's evil now unmistakable. Chased by Jack's violent roars, Danny moves fast through the labyrinth. But then he stops and conceives a plan. He retraces his steps, walking backwards in the snow, erasing his footprints, and hides behind a hedge. Jack, fooled, loses the trail and howls in frustration, deeper and deeper into the icy maze. At that same moment, Wendy escapes the hotel, finding Danny near the maze's entrance, breathless and shaking. They leap into Hallorann's abandoned snowcat as Jack's broken, pitiful screams echo in the freezing wind. Back inside the maze, Jack, lost and frantic, staggers until exhaustion overtakes him. As morning comes, he is frozen solid, a grotesque monument to the evil he embraced. But then, inside the empty Overlook, the camera glides down its long, haunted corridor, coming to rest on a wall of old photographs. At the center of one picture, Overlook Hotel, July 4th Ball, 1921, stands Jack Torrance beaming at the camera amid partygoers from a distant era, his presence eternally bound to the hotel's ghostly history. Sometimes, the past devours the present, but somewhere in the darkness, the will to survive is a light that can never be extinguished.